My in-laws recently moved into a fancy new apartment and are enjoying a comfortable life. One morning, my father-in-law, Derek, suddenly lashed out at me. "Why didn't you see your husband off to work? What were you thinking?" he snapped. "I got a work call and couldn't make it in time," I explained. Standing nearby, my mother-in-law, Sloane, smirked sarcastically. "Staying at home isn't a real job, you know. You're practically a freeloader," she remarked. Derek chimed in again. "Our son works outside and earns more than you. You should show him respect and support him properly. Honestly, you're a useless wife." I had reached my limit. How could they, who lived in my house rent-free, treat me like this? So I responded, "I can't respect my husband." Sloane's face twisted in shock. "I can't believe this. Someone who talks like that doesn't belong in this family. A stranger should leave," she exclaimed. Derek immediately agreed. "Exactly. We'll stay here with our son. You should leave. We'll pay $300 in rent." I was stunned. $300? Are they serious? But after everything they had said, I just didn't care anymore. "Fine, I'll leave," I said firmly. At that moment, I was done with them. My name is Jenna Davis. I'm a 30-year-old graphic designer working from home, and my business is thriving. I make a solid income. My husband, Eric, works a regular office job, and we've been married for 3 years. In the beginning, Eric helped with house chores when I asked, but behind my back, he told his friends, "Housework is a woman's job, so I let my wife handle it." I hadn't noticed this side of him before we got married. We used to live in an average rental apartment until a water leak from the unit above damaged our belongings. After negotiating a small compensation from the landlord, we decided to move. One day, Eric excitedly showed me a listing for a designer apartment near the station. "Jenna, let's move here next," he suggested. The rent was $3,000, more than double what we were paying. "I'd rather save for our future children," I hesitated. "But I've always wanted to live in a place like this. If we combine our incomes, we can afford it. Living in such a nice place might even inspire you to work harder. And if it's too much, we can move later. Please," he pleaded. I couldn't refuse after that, so we signed the lease under his name, and I agreed to contribute to the rent. The apartment was beautiful, and I felt more motivated in my work, but my in-laws started interfering in our lives more than ever. Derek had retired early at 60, and Sloane had never worked a day in her life. My relationship with them had always been strained. For instance, when Eric and I visited their place, they warmly welcomed him while completely ignoring me. "Eric, great to see you. Come in," they beamed. "Hello, Father." "Hello, Mother," I greeted politely. "Oh, Jenna, you're here too," Sloane said flatly. I stood awkwardly while Derek barked, "Hey, make some snacks to go with our drinks." It was still midday, but he acted like it was a party. Meanwhile, Sloane was busy taking selfies with Eric for social media, paying no attention to the situation. She loved posting photos of luxury brands, even though they lived in a budget apartment. Later, I found out she used a rental service for designer goods. No wonder Eric inherited his pretentious attitude. I reluctantly prepared snacks only for Derek to complain. "What is this? It's so bland." Sloane smirked. "Wow, you really can't do anything right." Poor Eric, stuck with such a useless wife. Eric, sitting nearby, ignored everything. From the start of our marriage, he always put his parents first. Moving closer to them only made it worse, so I kept my distance when possible. Then, a month after we moved in, right before our wedding anniversary, something shocking happened. I had bought ingredients to cook a small celebration dinner. Just as Eric and I were about to toast, the door suddenly opened. Derek and Sloane walked in uninvited. "Ah, Father, Mother," I stammered. "It's your anniversary celebration, right? We came to join in," they announced cheerfully. Eric, to my disbelief, welcomed them in. Confused, I noticed they were carrying large bags. "What's with all the bags?" I asked. Sloane looked around the apartment with delight. "Oh, this designer place is amazing. Living here would be a dream." Derek grinned. "Didn't Eric tell you? We gave up our old place. Our belongings will arrive tomorrow. From now on, you'll take care of us properly, like a good wife should." I turned to Eric in shock. "Wait, what?" Well, Eric hesitated. Their lease was up, and since we have extra rooms, I thought, Why not live together? Sloane scoffed at my stunned expression. What's with that look? Do you have a problem with us living here? Yeah, what's your issue? Derek added, and just like that, I was forced into living with my in-laws. Life became unbearable. Derek treated me like a servant, making me fetch alcohol and do chores. Once he even threw laundry in my face. Sloane flaunted our home online, using my clothes and shoes without asking. Whenever I tried to stand up for myself, they dismissed me. Exhausted, I turned to Eric. Your parents are treating me horribly, I pleaded. Don't let it bother you, he brushed me off. I wasn't just frustrated with my in-laws anymore. I was growing resentful of Eric too. Then, one day, Eric came home early from work, looking irritated. What's wrong? I asked. My company wants to transfer me to a retail store, he grumbled. That sounds like a good opportunity, I said. No, I won't accept it. I told them it was ridiculous and quit my job, he said, loosening his tie and collapsing onto the couch. I was stunned. You just quit? What about the rent? Eric shrugged. Your income is around $10,000 a month, right? That should be enough to cover everything, he said casually. I stared at him in disbelief. Are you serious? And don't tell Mom and Dad, he added. I don't want them to worry. I'll find another job soon, so just relax. I was furious. But at that moment, I couldn't just walk away from my unemployed husband. From then on, I not only managed the household chores but also covered all expenses, rent, bills, food, for 4 people. Meanwhile, Eric left every morning in a suit, pretending to go to work so his parents wouldn't find out he was jobless. At first, I thought he was out job hunting, but after noticing his long absences, I decided to follow him one day. What I found left me speechless. He was gambling away his unemployment benefits. We had a huge fight, but he refused to change. Instead, he started making sarcastic comments about how I was too busy with work. One morning, as I rushed to finish housework, Eric sat at the table, arrogantly flipping through a newspaper. My in-laws had just woken up, and I quickly prepared their breakfast while doing the dishes. Sloane frowned. Jenna, this egg is too hard. I glanced at the plate. I made it the usual way. Derek scoffed. I'd only eat soft-boiled fried eggs. Make it again, now. I opened my mouth to protest, but just then my phone rang. A client was calling. As I answered, Eric clicked his tongue in irritation, shot me a cold look, and left the house without touching his breakfast. When I hung up, my in-laws stood before me, arms crossed. Is there a problem? I asked. Derek glared. You should know better. How could you not see your husband off properly? I had a work call, I replied, trying to keep my composure. Sloane scoffed. I've always said it, sitting at home working on a computer isn't a real job. You're just a parasite. Derek nodded. Eric's income is the real contribution to this household. You should show him more respect. You're nothing but a useless wife. That was it. I snapped. Respect him? I shot back. Eric quit his job on a whim. He hasn't even tried to find a new one. And you two, living here for free, have the audacity to lecture me? Their faces turned red. I can't believe this. Sloane shrieked. If you're going to talk like that, then you're no family of ours. A stranger should leave. Exactly, Derek added. We'll stay here with our son. You should move out. We can pay $300 for rent. I blinked. $300? The rent is 10 times that. But I had heard enough. I refused to stay where I wasn't respected. Fine, I'll leave, I said coolly, ignoring their protests. I packed my things and moved into a temporary apartment, finally feeling at peace. A few weeks later, Eric started calling me nonstop. Eventually, I agreed to meet him. When I arrived at the restaurant, I was surprised to see he had brought his parents along. Before I could speak, Eric blurted out, Jenna, what's this about a divorce? I won't accept it. You can't divorce me without my consent. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, you saw the papers I sent. Eric paled. His parents glared at me. You can't be serious, he muttered. I absolutely am, I said calmly. Your parents have made my life miserable since they moved in. You ignored every complaint I had. Why would I stay? You're divorcing me over that? He scoffed. You can't just walk away. Sloane huffed. Eric, why would you even want to stay with her? We already offered to pay $300 for rent, didn't we? I couldn't help but laugh. $300? That was the parking fee. I pulled out the rent bill and slid it across the table. The actual rent is $3,000. Sloane and Derek went pale. $3,000? Sloane stammered. So, how much have you been paying all this time? Everything, I said bluntly. I've been covering all expenses with my income, the same income you mocked as being from a parasite. Derek lowered his head. Sloane's eyes darted away. We didn't know, she whispered. Eric ran a hand through his hair. Jenna, I'm sorry. Please come back. I can't live without you. I stared at him. And your parents? Eric turned to them. Apologize, he ordered. They muttered half-hearted apologies, but I had made up my mind. I'm not coming back, I said firmly. And I want a divorce. I'll never forgive any of you. Eric broke down in tears, but I turned and walked away, leaving them behind. Later, I finalized the divorce through a lawyer. I received most of the assets, leaving Eric with almost nothing. As for my in-laws, I exposed their behavior online. Sloane's social media account was bombarded with criticism, forcing her to delete it. Without my income, they couldn't afford the rent and were evicted. They moved into a rundown apartment. Derek had to take a factory job, and Sloane, without social media to validate her, stopped going out entirely. Eric found a new job, but it paid significantly less. He could no longer support his parents, and their once grand lifestyle crumbled. As for me, I moved into a beautiful designer apartment, just for myself. My business thrived, and I even adopted a cat that became my new source of happiness. With the toxic people out of my life, my future looked brighter than ever. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Stay tuned.